We're going to talk today about insomnia, and so many people struggle with insomnia, whether it is because they have something on their mind and they just can't get to sleep, or because has become chronic and there might be an underlying physiological situation that you're not addressing. So, number one, you have to get checked with your doctor. You have to get a sleep study if it's really problematic and you're not sleeping well and you might be not at your best in the daytime. Every time we don't get enough sleep, we don't actually catch up. So say we don't sleep for 3 or 4 nights and then we oversleep the next day. That's not a catch up. That just means that we're exhausted and we've just, hit that wall. But we don't really regain what we've lost in the past. We can start to heal, but we can't regain. So don't think that by sleeping in 1 or 2 days or trying to do that, it actually will get you to a place that's super helpful. You need to actually address it and prevent insomnia so that you can get enough sleep each night. So I want you to just get to a comfortable space, and I want you to maybe lay flat on your back, and I want you to feel the heaviness of your body. And I want you to really think about being curious about how you're going to feel the first night after you actually sleep through the whole night and how you'll achieve it. So many people have found that sleep problems were due to, like I said, worrying, or they have this thing in their head where they just keep thinking about problems, and sometimes it's actually just thinking about the sleep problems that they've had and worrying all day long, will they fall asleep? So many people have found different ideas that worked for them, and I'm really curious as to what will eventually work for you because everyone is a little bit different. So one person decided that if they wanted to sleep within 20 minutes of going to bed, they would just get up and start tidying their house. And within a week, their home was really tidy and they were sleeping through the night. Really, what that meant was they were probably worried about their home and organization and chaos in their life. So sometimes people will use meditation or hypnosis and they will fall asleep to that. And so it's really important just to focus on stopping the mind from wandering and worrying. And I want you to breathe right now. And I want you to get a sense of what will work for you. And you might be thinking, hey, I'm listening to this because I want to know what will work for me. But just hear me out, okay? Really think about what will it take for you to sleep through the night? What will it take for you to really relax your body and mind? So think about that. It's really not always about turning off your television or your computer or your phone an hour ahead of time. Of course, that's what you need to do. You need to not have that stimulation. You need to not have caffeine sometimes after 3 o'clock in the evening or afternoon. But what's really happening underneath? Is there something happening in your day-to-day life that's keeping you worried? What types of things are keeping you up at night? Are you worried about your health? As problems arise in the daytime, how are you handling them? Who are the people that are in your life surrounding you? What kind of energy are you getting from people? How will life be different if you had a good night's sleep and you were wide awake tomorrow morning? What would that be like? Would you be more aware of the problems or the people in your life? Is there a secondary benefit? Does it actually help you to kind of be tired in your day, to be numb, to be distracted, disconnected? Think about that for a little bit, because many people that I've worked with have had a sense of overwhelm and depression and anxiety, and then their sleep is disrupted. But in the daytime, they sort of go on autopilot. Because if you're anxious or depressed, being on autopilot temporarily might feel like a good thing, but then it becomes a habit. So how can we sleep better through the night and cope with whatever is happening in the daytime? Now, every now and then there's going to be that odd little blip where you don't sleep as well. But for the most part, when your head relaxes on that pillow, I wonder how you can actually find the space and the relaxation to fall asleep, and how quickly you can do it. I want you to think about what is happening in your day that you can change right now, that you can change within the next hour, so that tonight you can fall asleep more gently, more soundly. What is happening in your life? Are there people at work that are really draining you? Are there people in your personal life that have you feeling confused or taken advantage of? Really think about that. I want you to think about what will work for you in the daytime, making your day that much better, lowering your anxiety, releasing some depression. What are things that you can do to address what's actually happening so that these are not actually the focal points, the anxiety, the depression, the insomnia, but that you see them as just a result of something else that's happening? So I want to just quiet down a little bit in the background. I want you just to breathe and just to think and just focus. Continue to focus. Inhale, exhale. So when we have this need to make changes in our lives so that we can sleep better, we might have to relax to a deeper place. So when you're listening to me and you're letting your body get a little heavier and relaxing, just think about what I'm saying even on an unconscious level, even if you start to daydream a bit, or even if you just kind of nod out, that's okay too. So think about if you were a prince or a princess living in a castle, gazing out of the castle windows, overlooking the land that your family owns, and looking far, far out and seeing that people were struggling, but you were living in nothing but complete, really just advantageous life. I mean, you have everything that you want. You want for nothing at all. You are surrounded by only the best of the best. But you're looking out, and when you're looking out of this castle window, you're just very aware of the struggles, but they're outside of you. But pretend now, as a prince or a princess, that you want to know on a deeper level what you can do to change what's happening outside of you. So you pretend in this imaginative space that you're walking to a mother or father figure, a king or a queen, maybe both, and you're asking for permission to leave. That you want to know about everything that's happening outside of you, and that even though that you have everything inside of you that you need, and you have money and you have everything, you are aware that the struggle and suffering is not really something that you want to experience. So I want you to imagine that they say no to you, and that keeps you up, because there's not closure. There's not a solution. Then you decide as the prince or the princess that you are going to sneak out of the castle. And you do. You sneak out in disguise. And it's dark. And it's still. And you discover the answer on how you can help people to be more happy within their struggling, even miserable lives that they might be experiencing. And I want you to imagine that you're walking through the town and into a nearby forest, and that the forest is dark. It might even be eerie. And there's little shards of moonlight glistening down. And you realize that these shards of moonlight are giving you a path. Every time you step on a shard of moonlight, it moves. And it's leading you. And you can hear noises and birds as you move along in the dark. And you can sense your own heart beating. And you're going into the unknown, but you're brave and you're going into that unknown. And I want you to imagine that you see a little frog sitting by a pond, and you start to talk to that little frog. And this little frog says something to you. You are a journey of discovery and wonder, and you can wonder what you will discover on that journey. And you, as a prince or a princess, begin to walk and wander, discover and wonder. And now you're at the foot of a mountain, and now you're at a cave, and out of the darkness there's a tribe of people that appear, and you don't know what they're saying, you don't understand them, but you know that they're friendly, and they're all here to help you. They begin to cut down some trees that are already dead. The life-filled trees are still strong, but the trees that need to come down, and they build a ladder. And you climb this ladder, and when you climb this ladder, you can see this cave that is in the mountain. And you climb the ladder, and you get into the cave. And in the cave, you notice a beautiful fire burning, and the light of the fire is dancing upon the walls. And you begin to just lay next to that fire and just allow your body to relax and be warm. And in there, you've walked through the suffering, you've walked through the newness, you've found solutions, and you are now understanding the true meaning of happiness and of life, because it has nothing to do with riches, it has nothing to do with suffering, it has to do with the fact that you know how to get through a struggle. And then I want you to imagine that there is a coin flipping in the air. And when the coin was flipping in the air, it drifted downward. And when it drifted downward, it was either heads or tails. And that helped you to make a decision. And you climb down the ladder, enjoying the adventure, feeling rested, of wonder, of learning, of discovery. And you go back to your castle. But when you go back to your castle, you're very aware of some clues in that story that were meant just for you to help you find solutions. And how I created that story was with different symbolism that would address almost any struggle that you might be experiencing. So I would love for you to give me feedback on what symbolism really stuck out for you and how you're going to use this symbolism in your own life to make changes in your day, in the people that surround you, in the experiences, in the struggles, in the challenges, in the trials, and in the tribulations that you experience, and how these changes might help you to have a better night's sleep. Namaste.